broadcasting around the clock with news, weather, information, entertainment and factual programming. This is 24-hour local television for Dublin. This is your City Channel.
Now, from time to time, David Moore joins us from Astronomy Ireland to give us, I suppose, a view of the heavens from his perspective, and he's here for his January visit. David, you're very welcome. This time of year, though, isn't it? The sky is kind of pretty awful, and it's raining, and it's cloudy, and it's dark very early. And well, dark very early, of course, suits you.
Exactly.
You don't get that many clear nights, though, do you?
No, the Irish weather is always poor. I think the average statistics for the country are 1 in 4 nights is clear to some extent, and only 1 in 9 is totally clear. But that just, I think, makes people more interested when it is clear. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, for instance. And relative to population, Astronomy Ireland is the biggest astronomy club in the world. So the Irish weather is certainly not
So you keep telling me.
Off.
So you keep telling me.
And this is our 20th anniversary year, in fact.
Brilliant.
1990 we originally formed Astronomy Ireland. It's gone from strength to strength. We have a lovely colour magazine, lots of events happening around the country, 15 branches, 2,500 paid up magazine receiving members, and 15,000 people on our mailing list, which everyone can join for free on our website. In fact, we're doing a special offer this year, being our 20th anniversary. Instead of having 12 copies of the magazine this year, if you join now, you get 20 copies for the 20th anniversary.
Fantastic. The New Year's Eve, now there was an eclipse. I didn't see it. Where could you see it?
Well, actually, it was clear over most of the country.
Was it?
Yeah, okay. And around 7 to 8 o'clock, we got hundreds of pictures sent in to us from people with good quality cameras that could get up close. I think we have some to show here. I took one myself, which was very simply holding an ordinary cheap camera up to the eyepiece of a telescope. Some people did the same thing with a pair of binoculars, and some people had good cameras that could zoom in. And we have another picture, a mosaic, I think, of what the sequence looked like as the moon moved through the Earth's shadow. And that was the first eclipse that's happened on a New Year's Eve in 353 years.
Is there some significance to that? I suppose there's some druid significance. The lads would be all dancing around Stonehenge with excitement, would they?
Well, certainly they would have in ancient times. They had no idea what was happening. The moon, when it's totally eclipsed, it wasn't this time, will turn blood red. It'll go very dim and turn blood red. That's actually going to happen this year on the winter solstice, December 21st in the morning. We'll have an event for that then. But the New Year's Eve eclipse are very rare. That said, the next one happens in 19 years, and then there's a 370-something year wait. So on average,
we might see the next one, but the one after that, don't know.
On average, they happen on New Year's Eve every 200 years, but like buses, sometimes 2 come along at once.
And then don't come along for 300 years. I know exactly.
That was great fun, and there'll be a big photo report in our magazine recording that sort of rare, interesting eclipse. And it was a great start to your New Year's Eve
Mars
party.
is a big deal, isn't it, at the moment? The whole Mars watching.
Yeah, I was watching Mars a few nights ago, and just walking into the house, you sort of almost stopped in your tracks because you could see this brilliant orange star in the sky.
See, you know where to look for it. This is the problem. I mean, I'm walking around on a clear night, and there was 2 clear nights, very clear nights in the last week or so. And I'm looking around, and there's a lot going on. Now, what I look for when having discussed these things with you is a low star, very low on the horizon, brighter than most. And that I generally take to be a planet.
It probably was. There are 2 planets around the moment. Jupiter is just bowing out. So as soon as it gets dark, if you look low, near where the sun went down, you'll see a bright white star. And it's brighter than any other star in the sky, and that's Jupiter. But coming into the evening sky, over in the east in the early evening, is the planet Mars. And it is the brightest star-like object in the sky. And it has a definite orange tinge to it. Those pictures of the sandy desert you see on the spacecraft that landed on the surface, that's really what Mars looks like. And in fact, in 2 days' time, on the 29th, on Friday, we're setting up telescopes all across the country to give people a close-up look for free at these Mars watches. So check our website for the one nearest you. I'll be at the big one we'll be having in Dublin's Phoenix Park. They all start around 8 o'clock for about an hour or so.
Why do you always pick the Phoenix Park? Is that because there's no, it's just such a wide space, you've got much more open sky? If you pick someone's back garden, you wouldn't have the same effect.
Yeah, there's lots of reasons. There's a car park there, it's well known, it's in the centre of the city, equidistant more or less from the north side and the south side. it's good for everyone to get to. And when you're in the middle of the park, there aren't any street lights for nearly a mile in any direction.
Right.
Now that wouldn't matter too much for Mars because it's so bright we could hold a Mars watch in the middle of O'Connell Street. But if there's something slightly fainter, you get a slightly better view from the centre of the Phoenix Park. So it's become our regular haunt. We've been using it now for 20 years since the Society founded. Everyone's welcome to come along free. Even as cloudy, we'll have leaflets, magazines and all kinds of information there, and a good display of telescopes. Because a lot of people will have got telescopes this Christmas, and if they got a reasonably good quality one, they can have their own Mars watch every night this month and next month, because Mars is now closer to us than it will be for 4 more years. And it really only lasts for 2 or 3 months at its very closest, when you can see detail on the surface. And we have a picture which will show kind of things that have been photographed through the telescopes that we sell here in Ireland. This is not some spacecraft photograph. And you can see the dark markings and the polar cap as well. And to actually see those live, I think it's even better than seeing a photograph.
I wanted to ask you as well about computerized telescopes. Now I know they all sound very fancy, and it's something that would be happening in a major, observatory or something. Is there anything you can do to link your own domestic telescope to your computer and maybe make it operate automatically and so on?
Well, yeah, today you can buy telescopes for €300 or €400 that have a computer system built in, and the telescope as well, all on a stand, the whole thing complete. Back in the old days, they cost 10 times more. But the kind of things you can do with them now, for instance, if you take them outdoors, you look up at the night sky and you don't know what the name of anything up there, except maybe the moon perhaps, you can just point the telescope at 3 stars. In fact, one of them can be the moon, so the moon and 2 stars. And by measuring the distance between them, the telescope can figure out which of the 3 objects they are and where every one of thousands of other objects built into its memory.
That's what I mean. Yeah, you can you could pick the North Star, boom, and it could move the telescope to that.
The telescopes we have in our own shop, you press a star button or a tour button. That is actually the best one to press, and up in the display will pop the Orion Nebula, the Andromeda Galaxy, and you can get a description in the screen out in the cold of what each object is. You press enter on the one you like the sound of, and the telescope will move to it. And then if you're viewing a group for half an hour or so, as the Earth rotates, normally the telescope will be carried with the Earth and the object would move out of the field of view. Because of the computer controlling it, it keeps tracking the object across the sky. It'll also find all the planets, the moon and everything else. It's remarkable what they can do.
And where do you buy these things?
From Astronomy Ireland.
Okay, you guys do.
The biggest telescope shop in the country.
Fantastic.
And not only that, but then you've got the society behind you to help you use the telescope for the rest of your life.
Okay, it's a great hobby, and it's particularly, I think, interesting for kids, and great to give them a sense of what's going on out there.
And one program we're rolling out this year is that we have people going to talk in schools all across Ireland. We've been doing it all last year. It was extremely successful. If you want to do that for your school or for any other group, just give Astronomy Ireland a call. And the reason for the Mars Watch in 2 days' time is to promote the fact that next week, starting on February 3rd, we're going to have evening classes for beginners in 10 different locations around Ireland: Dublin, Cork, Waterford, and several others. So if people want to join in on those, they're very much aimed at beginners. People are fascinated by what we've been talking about today. Join up with Astronomy Ireland. It's all there on the website.
Fantastic, great to see you, and thank you for coming in. And hey, take note of that. I was genuinely asking because I've an interest in maybe trying to get myself one of those telescopes. Fantastic. Astronomy.ie is the site, astronomy.ie, and you can become fully conversant with all of the workings of Astronomy Ireland. And thanks to David Moore there.